That countdown timer just hit 0. The "only 2 left" tag disappeared, and for a split second, you feel a real pang of loss for something you didn't even care about 5 minutes ago. It's weird, right? That's not shopping, it's your brain getting hijacked. I am John, and I will decode the FOMO, fear of missing out, today. In the next 10 minutes, I'm going to show you exactly why this happens, how it sneaks up on you, and what you can do to fight back. I was booking a hotel room for a trip last Tuesday. Totally normal day. The site refreshed, and suddenly a bright red banner screamed, "3 other people are looking at this room. Book now before it's gone." My heart rate spiked. I wasn't even excited about the trip anymore. I was in a race against 3 invisible strangers. And that's when it hit me. This isn't about the room. It's about the fear of losing it. I realized I'd been tricked into urgency. My brain equated scarcity with value and immediacy with importance. Rationally, nothing about the room changed, but emotionally, it became a treasure I might miss. Why does this happen? Why does a simple timer or a stock counter make us panic and override logic? How is it that seeing "only 2 left" can make us click buy almost without thinking? That's the question we're unpacking in this video. By the end, you'll see exactly why these triggers hijack your brain, how to spot them before they make you act, and how to take back control without losing out on real opportunities. Here's the aha moment. FOMO isn't about wanting something more, it's about being terrified of the story of losing it. Our brains treat scarcity like a danger signal, and the perfect analogy for this is a fire alarm for your wallet. A real fire alarm means danger, you run. A false alarm, a countdown timer, or a 3 people viewing pop-up triggers the exact same panic sprint. Urgency marketing is pulling that psychological fire alarm to make you run to the checkout even when there's no real danger. The product hasn't changed. A hotel room on Booking.com or a deal on Amazon is the same. What changes is the story in your head. Act now or it's gone forever. That's the mental switch they flip, and understanding that switch is how you take back control. So why do these urgency and scarcity signals hit us so hard? Here's the thing. Our brains are wired to avoid loss more than to seek gain. Psychologists call this loss aversion. Losing something triggers a stronger emotional reaction than gaining something of equal value. That's why "only 2 left" feels more urgent than "this item is on sale for $5 off." And it's not just about numbers. Scarcity signals like countdown timers or stock warnings tap into another bias called social proof. Seeing 3 other people are looking at this tells your brain that this must be important because others are interested. Evolutionarily, being left out of something valuable could cost you, so your mind reacts as if you're in danger, even if it's just a digital shopping site. I've caught myself falling for this too. Booking a hotel or buying concert tickets online, I'd suddenly feel panic I didn't expect. My logical brain knows the stock could be fake, the timer might reset, but my emotions don't care. They push me to act first, think later. Another angle is urgency and scarcity exploit dopamine loops. When you grab something before it disappears, your brain rewards you with a tiny hit of satisfaction. That reward reinforces the behavior. Even if the item wasn't really valuable, the rush feels real. So basically, the mechanism is a mix of loss aversion, social proof, and dopamine-driven action. Marketers aren't hacking you, they're working with wiring that's been around for thousands of years. Recognizing this is step 1. Once you see how your brain is responding, you can start taking control instead of being pulled along by the panic. Once you start noticing urgency and scarcity in action, you'll notice it everywhere. I realized this while scrolling through Amazon's lightning deals. The countdown is real, but the originally $199 price tag, often a fiction. The timer's flashing, and suddenly that blender feels like a once-in-a-lifetime steal. I caught myself almost clicking buy now just to avoid missing out. Eventbrite is another classic example. You'll see 15 tickets left for a local comedy show or a networking event, but in reality, hundreds of tickets are still available. The site creates a sense of scarcity to push you into action. You start thinking, wow, if I don't act, I'll miss this. Your rational brain says there's plenty, but your gut is racing. And it's not just online. Hotel bookings, airline seats, even local ticketed events in the US, flash warnings, last room, or few seats remaining are everywhere. I noticed it while planning a trip to New York. The site flashed that only 2 rooms were left in my price range. I paused, double-checked, and yep, dozens of rooms were still available, but the fear had already kicked in. The key pattern to recognize is this: scarcity signals often exist to manufacture urgency, not reflect reality. When you see low stock, countdown timers, or social proof indicators, your brain starts imagining loss scenarios. That's why you feel that nudge to act immediately, even if there's no real consequence to waiting. Once you start spotting these patterns, you can see them in daily life. Black Friday deals, Amazon Prime Day, limited edition sneakers, online courses, they all tap the same wiring. Urgency plus scarcity equals FOMO. And the more you notice it, the less power it has over you. The good news is, you can get the control back. I call it the false alarm test. Every time you see a timer, a low stock warning, or a flashing "only a few left," pause and ask yourself aloud, is this a real deadline or a manufactured one? I do this all the time now. Booking a hotel in Chicago, the site said 2 rooms left at this price. I literally said, okay, is this real? A quick search showed plenty of availability across other booking platforms. That tiny pause stops the panic and lets the rational part of your brain come back online. The test works for online shopping too. On Amazon Lightning deals or Eventbrite ticket warnings, ask, are they really running out, or is this a scarcity cue designed to push me? This simple mental step turns the urgency signal from a trigger into just another piece of information. You're still free to act if you genuinely want the product, but now it's your choice, not a hijack. I also like to apply a mini rule. Wait 5 minutes. Step away from the page. Take a breath. If after that pause you still genuinely want it, go for it. But you'll notice the panic usually fades. That's your rational brain reclaiming control. The beauty is that this isn't complicated. No charts, no formulas, no willpower gym required. It's just a mental checkpoint. Spot the alarm, question it, pause, then decide. Doing this consistently rewires how you respond to urgency marketing, and suddenly those flashing timers and last room banners lose their grip. You see through the illusion before it even starts. The line is simple, but it's important to state clearly. Deception is off limits. Fake scarcity, fake timers, fake stock numbers, or exaggerated social proof is not marketing. It's psychological fraud. I've caught myself pausing when I see these tactics, thinking, would I want someone doing this to me? That's my litmus test. The ethical use of urgency is about honesty. If the offer, stock, or deadline is real, communicate it transparently. If it isn't, don't use it. Clever marketing respects the customer. Manipulative marketing preys on fear. And in my view, once you cross into manipulation, you risk more than a single sale. You risk your brand's reputation and the trust you've worked to build. This fear of missing out lever is powerful, but it's not the only trick our brains fall for. In fact, there's an opposite illusion coming up in our next video, the cost timing illusion, where pay later schemes make you feel like you're saving money, even when you're spending more. It's the same wiring, just flipped. I'd love to hear from you. What's the most obvious or ridiculous fake scarcity tactic you've noticed online or in stores here in the US or Canada? Drop it in the comments. Sharing your experiences helps everyone spot these patterns faster. And if you want to stay a step ahead of these psychological tricks, make sure you subscribe. We break down a new way marketers try to hijack your brain. Every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, we unpack another way marketers use psychology to influence spending, so you can shop smarter and make choices on your terms. Remember, this isn't about fear, it's about awareness. Once you see the patterns, the power is back in your hands. Stay curious, stay calm, and I'll see you in the next video.